Hello, 22 Tony here, with my latest discussion on collecting vintage and antique ammo. In my previous videos we've talked about general collection, we've talked about collecting boxes of cartridges. In this case we've got some 22 shell boxes. We've talked about collecting individual cartridges, different calipers. We've talked about collecting shotgun shells or shotgun shell boxes. And we've talked a little bit about knowing your local laws, and we've talked about the ways of finding and obtaining new ammo, or in this case old ammo. Today I want to change it up a little bit. We're not going to talk about whole boxes of 22 shells. We're not going to be talking about different calibers of cartridges. Today I thought up another way of collecting, and that would be by head stamp. Now hopefully the video quality is good enough that you'll be able to see some of the different head stamps here. I got thinking about it. I was looking at some of my different cartridges, and I was looking at the head stamps on them, and some of them are pretty interesting. And I thought that would make a good collection, and how could I go about doing this? Well, to just have a whole handful of 22 shells, or cartridges, you know, it's not much of a collection. But then I got thinking, last time I was at the range, I finished off a box of CCI Stingers. Nice little plastic box, comes with a sliding lid to keep everything in place, easily fit in a pocket. This is I thought, a really nice way to collect different 22 head stamps. So here I've just got a few examples. This is just something I threw together in about 5 minutes. These are some oddball cartridges that I've had sitting around here. Most of these came from either estate sales or auctions. I did mention in one of my previous videos that I am a part-time antique dealer, and I spend a lot of time at garage sales, estate sales, auctions. And it's not uncommon to have a hunter's lot come up that has a handful of oddball cartridges or shells thrown on a tray. And usually they don't bring a lot of money, and it's something that you could pick up pretty easily. So over the past few years I've come up with a few interesting ones here. I don't know if you can see the acorns on these. That is, I understand, it's a German, I believe it's RWS. I've got a couple of cartridges here, the old copper cartridges with no head stamps. Next we've got Peter's High Velocity. I've got a chrome plated and a brass. I've also got some CCIs, again chrome plated and brass. The next thing I've got, that's a Super X, a Western Super X. We've got the W for Winchester. We've got two H's here. We've got one brass and one in copper. And that's also Winchester head stamp. I've got, again, two U's, one in brass and one in copper. That's for Union Metallic Cartridge Company, or those are old Remington shells. I've got a regular Remington, a more modern Remington head stamp. I've got, one I like here is the Yellow Jacket. And that's a kind of interesting one. And the last one is just, again, that's a modern Federal head stamp. So the little box I have here, this CCI box, will hold 50 cartridges, and I got to thinking, well, how many different head stamps are there? Is 50 enough to build a collection? Well, realistically, no. There's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different head stamps out there. So I got to looking a little bit. I pulled out an old copy of the American Rifleman. This is June 1971, and they had a story on 22 shells, and here's just an example of some of the head stamps that they showed in their article. And this is, again, just a mere beginning of what's available. Now this article's from 1971, so these that a lot of these were modern back then, these are now considered collectible. In addition to that, I went a little bit further. I went onto the internet to see what was available, and I just have one page here. This is some examples of CCI head stamps. Again, this is just one company, and this isn't everything. This is just some examples that I found on the internet. So we start thinking, well, if I'm going to start collecting head stamps, and my little box here only holds 50, well, what am I going to do? Well, I went back to my range bag, and I realized I've got lots of these plastic boxes. This one holds 100. When I run out of room on my 50, I'm just going to have to go to the range and shoot some more cartridges to make room for expanding my collection. Well, Part of my discussions are usually how to obtain cartridges as well, and I did mention that most of these came from estate sales or garage sales or auctions. And then I thought, well, you know, for the average collector that may not be an option. I spend a lot of time at estate sales, but everybody doesn't. Well, where are you going to get your cartridges if you're going to collect head stamps? Well, there's certainly cartridge shows, and if you go on the internet and search, there are cartridge shows across the country, and there's probably some not too far. They're not like gun shows that every town has their own, but there are usually some within not too great a distance of your home. There's also gun shows. The gun shows, quite often the same thing. The gun dealers have oddball lots of odd ammunition that they got stuck with somehow, somewhere. And, you know, for a single 22 cartridge, you know, unless it's something really, really rare, you're probably going to pay $1 for it. But even that, though, it's, you know, that could be time consuming, and it might not be as easy as it sounds. So I thought, how else would we get some cartridges? Well, depending on what you're willing to pay, you know, at a gun show, you might come across, you know, something fairly common, a box of Russian Junior 22s. So, okay, this probably at a gun show, you'll get some guys who'll tell you that it's rare and try to get a lot of money out of you, but most dealers realize this isn't a rare box at all. They're available. It's probably an $8 or $9 box, $10 at the worst. Well, do I want to pay $10 for just to get the one cartridge? Maybe not. But then on the other hand, if I pay $10 for this box to get the one cartridge I want, that leaves me 49 cartridges that I can go to the range and shoot. Now, to me, you know, $10 is a lot to pay for 49 cartridges, but at today's market, you know, you might be paying $6, $7 for 50 cartridges anyway. So I look at it the other way. I paid $6, let's say, for 49 cartridges to shoot. It means I paid $4 for that one that I put into my collection. So, again, I'm not sure that I would pay $4 for the one cartridge, but it may be a way to collect something a little bit different, a way that it is obtainable, and a way to get started anyway. Well, with all my videos, the whole idea of my videos is not to convince you to do something and not to tell you my way of doing things. My videos are designed to get you to think about how you want to collect vintage and antique ammo. I hope this one was informative. I hope you liked it, and I hope it makes you think, and hopefully some of you will go out and start collecting head stamps. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to watch my other videos and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye.